Hey y'all, come on in. I am in the kitchen. It is Thursday evening, and what I'm doing, I'm getting ready for tomorrow. Since I didn't have my surgery on Monday, I am going to prepare dinner for tomorrow. On the menu is going to be brisket. I'll probably do some either barbecue chicken or curry chicken. I bought a chicken from Sam's Club, so I'm making this real easy. I decided that since I did not have the surgery, I'll just go ahead and fix the dinner. Something that wasn't too taxing. I went ahead and bought a smaller brisket. I already had a big one. I think I showed it to y'all a few weeks ago when I purchased it. But I bought a 10-pound brisket. I'm going to do that. My neighbor daughter found me some good fresh corn on the cob. And as you can see, I've shucked it, cleaned it, and cut most of it off, so I got just this much left to do. This is probably a gallon of corn, and so I'm going to do that. Baked beans, potato salad. I might do mac and cheese. And then the other thing that's going on with me, my refrigerator is still out. I've got the one refrigerator, my overload refrigerator is still on the porch, but my inside refrigerator is not inside, so I have to be careful about how many things I get going that have to be refrigerated. So anyway, just want to come to you and say, if you're traveling, if you've already traveled, or if you're going to travel tomorrow or stay home or whatever, happy 4th, because I know I'll get busy tomorrow and won't have time to really just sit down and talk or anything like that. So I'm just coming to you this evening to say hey. And I told y'all I was going to fill you in about my surgery. Well, there's nothing to fill in except that somehow the communication went out. It didn't get back to me like it should have. So when I went on Monday Tanya and I ready for me to go in and have the surgery, the surgeon was speaking to me and we were having a conversation. I said, whoa, am I getting ready to have surgery today? He said, no, ma'am. And he was looking at me like, no, this is a consultation. So I don't even want to go back through all the shock and all. But anyway, suffice it to say, I am going to have surgery though next month, and we'll talk more about that later on. But anywho, I did not have surgery on Monday, and that's why I'm going to be in the kitchen cooking some 4th of July. I didn't feel like getting on that grill. You know, it is so hot outside. Didn't even matter if I didn't have this back situation. It is just too hot to be out there on that grill. So I'm doing a brisket, some chicken. Oh, and I'm getting some of those big beef hot dogs, baked beans, potato salad, and possibly mac and cheese. It just depends. I have to see how much space I have left in my fridge to store stuff. So anywho, I'm just going to finish the last bit of this corn. I've done corn once or twice before. I don't do it that often because, you know, the good corn comes this time of the year. So what I'm going to do here is to, let me get a glove over here. Hang tight. I gotta get over here back to the cabinet. Grab me a glove. Another glove. And show you, for anybody that does not know how to cut that corn off the cob, you know, you have to, it has shucks, you know, shucks, green shucks. I've gone, as a matter of fact, I've cleaned, let's see, I think I did 30 years of corn. So all this in this bag is corn cobs and shucks. I've already shucked all that last night and finished it off today. So got the big work done. So, you know, you pull the green part off, get the silk off, and then once you get all that off, you wash it. And then, if you have one of these little gadgets here, like my husband bought this for me years and years and years ago, you just cut the corn right off, or you can use a knife. I think I demonstrate. It's so easy with this little deal right here. If you can find one of these, run it right down there, and it takes all that corn. Try to get 2 layers off so it'll be nice and thin. I'm getting a little bit too thick. Anyway, try to get at least 2 layers off of there. Okay. And if you don't have the little gadget here, get you a nice sharp knife and do the same thing. Just take that knife and run down just like so, and it comes right off. That's how you take the corn off to make fried corn, a whole kernel corn, however you're going to do it. And then when you get it all off, you just take the knife and just run it down. Oops, I'm not throwing it at y'all. Just run it down the corn, and you got it all off. So I just want to come to you just because I felt like talking this evening. But so anyway, just remember this. The object of this is to get these kernels all. Try not to go too deep because you don't want to get the carb cut off. Because this thing here is pretty sharp, and it'll cut the carb and everything else. And if you see any extra little pieces of silk, just pull them off and try to get as much of that silk off. Now this was fresh right out of the field. It had a lot of silk on it, but this is some really good sweet corn. I kept some a few years that later on I'm going to, next week sometime I'll boil it, put load it up with butter and some Parmesan cheese, what do you call it, ranch dressing, anything you want to put on it, but for sure. And it is so sweet, you don't need, some corn you have to add a little bit of sugar to it, but this was so sweet. When I get ready to fry this tomorrow, all I'm gonna have to do, and I'll show y'all when I get ready to fry the corn. I'll show you how to fry it. It's very easy. It takes about 20, 30 minutes. And the only thing I have to add to this corn when I get ready to cook it is going to be some black pepper, maybe just a sprig of salt, but I won't have to put any sugar because it's nice and sweet and it's tender. It's very good, and I'm excited because I love some good old fresh corn. So anywho, I just want to come and say, hey, hope y'all are, if you're traveling, be safe. If you're not, enjoy your family at home. You can even eat out if you like to, because if I had the surgery, I was not going to do a lot of cooking anyway. So since I'm not, I will be in the kitchen for a little bit. Got a couple of friends coming over, so I can share since I'll be cooking. So anyway, just want to come and say love you, pray without ceasing. I know you all been watching the news and seeing all this stuff that's on there in the news about in our government and what's going on around the globe and whatnot. So just continue to pray without ceasing for all things that are going on. I mean, so much going on. It's almost too much to try to remember the different topics. But suffice it to say that there's always something to pray about. So remember, pray without ceasing, y'all, to the glory of God, that all things that are going on will be soon corrected, and that we know already that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. And y'all know we love the Lord. We love the Lord. So we continue to pray without ceasing. So I'm going to get off of here because I don't want to make this too long, because I got to add to it the rest of the meal that I will be cooking. And also, as time goes on, I get this back situation straightened out. I've decided that I'm going to be doing some other things other than just cooking all the time. So y'all just be looking out for me and keep me prayed up. We're going to just start doing just sit down and talk about some subjects, some things that are near and dear to my heart, some things that I think are important in life, in view of all the things that something's on that. There must be a piece of corn. Yep, it did pop right up on the screen. But anywho, y'all, I'm going to get off here for now, and I'll be back in the morning. I might come back just shortly when I get ready to, because I got to get my brisket out and get it ready to go into the oven, because it's still in the fridge right now. And I can't take it out and look at me with corn on my face, Lord help me. But anyhow, I am going to show y'all how to season the brisket, get it into the oven. It's a 10-pound brisket, and I think I told you before, 30 minutes for every hour. For every pound that you cook. So I'll probably be cooking that brisket about 8 hours. I always add my extra time. Season it up real good. Wrap it up in as much foil as you can, and just put it in the oven and let it cook. So what I'll do is I'll put it in tonight about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll be able to take it out 1 o'clock the next day. So 8 or 10 hours is how long I'm going to cook it. And I'll let it cool down, slice it, we'll be ready. So anywho, y'all, hang tight. I'll be right back with that brisket shortly. Happy July 4th, everybody. Come on in. It's time to get some 4th of July vittles on the stove. I said I wasn't going to cook one time, but like I told you in the beginning, I thought about it. So last night when I was showing y'all cutting the corn off, okay, got that corn all cut off. It is ready. Got that bowl full there. All I'm going to do with it when it's time to cook it, I'll cook it about an hour or so before we get ready to eat it because I love it fresh and hot. I'm going to put it in this big old pan there with a whole stick of butter and a little black pepper and a tiny bit of salt. Don't need no sugar because it's creamy, it's tender, and it's sugar sweet. So we're going to do the corn. Come on over here. We're going to do some mac and cheese. Got my noodles all cooked, so I'm going to get this corn out of my way over here. Just trying to put a little bit of order to what I'm doing. Since I started with the corn, I thought I'd show y'all. I do have that corn ready to start cooking. The mac and cheese is going to be ready to go here shortly. I got my noodles already cooked up here on the stove, so I'm going to make a pan of mac and cheese. This is one I add on because I wasn't going to do, but I thought, well, everybody like mac and cheese, and mac and cheese freezes so well. I do have a little bit of room in my freezer, so if I have to freeze some, I got space to freeze it. So, now, if you look, I got everything going on in this kitchen. I'm doing more than I planned on doing. I got my thing over here on the side in my sink. I got all my cheeses. I got my milk. Just start bringing that up. Cheese, my milk, and all that kind of stuff going on, and I'm gonna be making my mac and cheese here shortly. But before I do that, I also added on making a cake, y'all. So got my mac and cheese stuff ready. I'm gonna get it going here shortly. I can go here right now. Like I said, I got so many things going on. I got about 2 hours to pull all this together. Everything is prepped. You know, like I've told y'all before, a sous chef is the most important person to me in the kitchen because, you know, once you put it together, anybody can put it in the oven, put it on the stove, cook it. Well, not anybody, but you know what I'm trying to say. A sous chef is that person, the person that does all the work. It's what I call the grunt work. So I'm the chef and the sous chef most of the time in my kitchen. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some things started over here. For the cake, I need that cake to go in the oven. I need it baking, and while it's baking, I'm gonna have my macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna have it in the oven baking because it has to bake a good hour. I have my beans in there baking, so I'll get all that going. Then I'll make my get everything else going. So I'm gonna go over here. So that's all my mac and cheese stuff for the most part, except for the eggs. I gotta get my eggs going out here. Get me some, about 3 eggs to go in there while I drop all my plasticware. Y'all hear the noise? Okay. This is all this extra added on stuff. I got a burst of energy, so I'm using it to cook with. Okay. I always like to put Alfredo, a little bit of Alfredo in my mac and cheese, so we got that all lined up over here. I got my baked beans. My Bush's baked beans is what I use for baked beans. So I'll be back over that side in just a second. So I'm gonna do that. But for right now, the reason I want to go and get my cake done is because I need that cake to cool so we can eat it, and I don't have to be fooling with it at the last minute. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead on this other side of the room. That's the TV, y'all, here. Y'all know I have to have me a good... Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and get this cake going. I didn't have 2 boxes of yellow cake mix, but I did have 1. And I did have a box of lemon supreme cake mix. So I'm mixing those 2. So we're going to have a pineapple upside down lemon cake. How about them apples? Okay. So the ingredients just follow the instructions on the back of the box. Combine them ingredients and go ahead and mix your batter up and get it going. So altogether I need 1 3/4 cups of liquid, which I added a 1/2 cup of that liquid. Happens to be, guess what? Pineapple juice from the pineapples, because we're going to put pineapples, you know, on the bottom of that cake to make that pineapple upside down. So we got that liquid in. I got 6 eggs, which is a combination of both of my boxes of mix. Each one needed 3 eggs, so I got, of course, 6 eggs. Beat them up pretty good, and I just got my wire whisk. I'm not going to use a blender for this, because we want this to be. I like when I do this. I like it sort of pound cakey. Oh, and what I didn't tell y'all, I added a 10-ounce box of a Jell-O instant vanilla pudding to my mix. Whatever brand you got on hand. Okay, so you know we got to put some oil or butter or something there. So I need a 1/2 cup of oil, which is going to be my Smart Start. So I'm going to put about 1/2 cup of one of the mixes calls for a 1/2 cup of oil. The other one calls for a 7 tablespoons of butter. So we're gonna go ahead and put, it's my 1/2 cup of oil, and I'm gonna get me a tablespoon and do these 7 tablespoons of my Smart Start butter, y'all. So I'm trying to do it right. I'm gonna use the measurements. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, yeah, 6, and 7, yeah, 7, okay. So, got that in. So hang on, I'll be right, yeah, give me a sec here. Okay. What is that? Is that an eggshell? I don't know where that get on. I don't know what that was. Something weird. It's supposed to be in my cake mix, I know that. So we're gonna go ahead and mix. Kind of mix it slow so you won't make a mess. I put everything in there. Yep, got everything in there. And once I get it all mixed up, I'm gonna put about a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and some butter and the pineapples in the bottom of the pan. I'm gonna pour the batter on top of that, and then you know what's gonna happen next. We're gonna put it in the oven and start baking it at, it costs $350. I got it on $375 to back that down. So I have to bake, because it's a big old cake and it's 2 boxes of cake mix. I bake this for about 45 minutes. And it'll come out, usually it comes out just perfectly well. Kind of whip it up a little bit. Get all that goodness going. I think I'm gonna hit it with a tiny bit. That's gonna be good, y'all. Woo. Yes, sir. I always put me a little bit of extra vanilla extract in. Let me have a tablespoon of vanilla, please. Can I just have that 1 little tablespoon? And this is not the pure vanilla, so it won't overpower. Okay. So now we're gonna have some dessert for the 4th of July. Y'all know I'm not a baker. I don't do a lot of baking. It's just not my thing. But sometimes you just feel, oh wow, that smells so good, y'all. Okay, y'all hang tight. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my brown sugar and get it into the pan so we can get this cake in the oven. Okay, y'all, I'm back on this macaroni and cheese. This is a 1-pound box of mac and cheese. It says serves 8, but honey, when you get all this other stuff mixed in, it'll serve a lot more than 8. I got a 4th cup of butter in there. That is some Parmesan. That's the last of that jar of Parmesan. Put about a good half a cup of parm in there. Got my noodle jar. I always keep some. This is good when you boil your corn. Oh Lord, the more cheese, the merrier in macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna put that back out of the way. This is my buttery garlic herb. A couple tablespoons of that just for extra flavor. So there's a 1 and a 2. Okay, we dumping now because we gotta move this train. We can't sit here and linger. Okay, so that was 2 tablespoons of that. And if you got that, fine. If you don't, it's gonna taste all right anyway, because you won't know what it tastes without it, unless you ever tried it. Okay, so half a teaspoon of black pepper. Y'all know what black pepper do. Y'all already know. Let it do what it do. So we got all that in. Now I've got 3 eggs I'm gonna throw in there. Let me whisk these up. This mac and cheese, y'all probably say you've seen me make before, and you probably saw me do it differently, but that's just the way it is with me with cooking. For this one, take this recipe down, so you'll probably got 5 or 6 different recipes from me. This is 3 eggs that I want to put in here. Open this can. This is carnation milk. I'm going to put a half a cup of carnation milk in with those whipped up eggs. Okay. About a half a cup of milk. That ought to do it. Okay. And all I'm gonna do with that, just throw it right on in there. How about that? Got that in there. Okay. Now, obviously we gotta mix it, but before we do, I love this stuff here, Alfredo sauce. I'm gonna put half that jar in there. That just gives it a little more creaminess, and I'll use the rest of it next week sometime, unless I feel like I need to use it in here. Get all this going in here, and then I'm gonna throw some cheese in here. I know you got the cheese in there. Y'all, this smells good. If you notice, the only thing, well, I always boil my noodles with a little bit of salt. I use pink salt, so I put about a teaspoon of pink, half a teaspoon rather, of pink salt in while I was boiling those noodles, just to knock the edge off of them. And go ahead and cook the salt off. And this way, when we get ready to do this, the cheese is salted. All the cheese is Parmesan and this other grated cheese that I want to be putting in here. Everything got a little bit of salt to it, so I really won't have to add any salt to speak of, really. So now that I think we got all of that going on, okay, I'm gonna get my cheese going. Okay, I got about a 1/4 cup of Mexican 4 cheese. I'm gonna dump it right on in there. I need to use that. It's kind of caked on it. I had all these little bags of cheese and bags of this, bag that. Remember, I told y'all my refrigerator in the house is out, so I have to use my refrigerator outside. So I got everything stuffed into there. And I thought, let me get all the extra cheese I got sit back in there. Get it out. Okay. Somebody get a big old mouthful of cheese bleeding in their mouth when they bite into that. Okay, now I've got 2 cups of sharp cheddar and 2 cups of Monterey of Colby. So I'm gonna mix these. I'm gonna put half of that, or most of that. Ooh, this smells wonderful, y'all. Okay, and then I'm gonna pour. So we're gonna have about 4 cups of cheese in there all together, okay? Lots of cheese, about 4 or 5 different kinds of cheese. Monterey Jack, cheddar, and then that Mexican, it says Mexican 4 cheese mixture. So it has, so we got about, let's see, we got Mexican 4 cheese, we got Monterey Jack, cheddar, Asiago, and quesadilla cheeses. So we got some cheese in this mac and cheese. So like I said, this is 4th of July mac and cheese right here. Ooh, that's gonna be good because it's smelling good, y'all. It's smelling good. It ain't even cooked yet. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just continue to mix this up real good. I'm gonna bake it in one of my foil pans because here's the beauty of the foil pans. When you get through baking anything in them, if you don't want them, you can ball them up and throw them in the trash, especially if they're empty. Especially if they're empty. So we're gonna cut out and we'll be right back.